Hello, A Better Lived Life crew. So I'm Christina, coach, combat vet, and community change agent. So recently I've been seeing some people talking about like how much money they spend because of their ADHD. So I thought I'd do a video about things I specifically intentionally spend money on because of the ADHD or for the ADHD. So I'm not going to talk about like the accidental expenditures, like the extra junk food, stuff like that. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about things that are intentionally purchased to compensate for ADHD. So I want to go ahead and start with some subscriptions. So the first is FocusMate. FocusMate is a website that allows you to set up an appointment. You can do like immediate as well, but this way, like today at 4 o'clock, I have an appointment because I remembered I needed to do something, but in that moment, my brain was like, I don't wanna do this right now. So it felt better, safer, further away to put it at 4 p.m. today, and I put it on FocusMate. So there's actually a person that's going to be scheduled to meet with me. So if I don't show up, they don't have their partner. So that's more incentive to show up. And FocusMate allows you to body double. So that's when somebody else shows up with you and you are both there and you're both going to work on your own thing. Like it's not, you have, most people put the video on mute. So you say, hello, I am Christina. I am working on blah, blah, blah. They tell you what they're working on. Good luck. Hit mute, you work for the session. You can pick your own schedule, 25 minutes for short tasks, 50 minutes for longer tasks, and I think they offer like 75 now, but I cannot imagine trying to focus that long. So I have a smaller task. I've got a 25-minute session at 4 o'clock to try to force myself to do this task I've been putting off. So I pay for that. I'm grandfathered in, I think at $5.99 a month, something like that, but the current subscription is $9.99, something like that for the monthly plan. If you pay annually, it's like $7. There is a free version though. So if anybody's thinking about using it, try the free version. Like you don't have access to all the same things, but I found the free version very useful. I tried it first before I went ahead and did the paid version. I think the free version was like you can do 3 appointments a week, something like that. So when you're struggling to do a task and you don't have somebody like in person or on a phone, you could ask to body double for you, or you feel too uncomfortable asking about that, you can go ahead and go to this website and do it. And no, this is not a paid ad. This is just, I use them. You can see from the subscriber numbers, I do not have enough subscribers to get them to pay me, working on it. But if you know of a better one, like there was one but it's primarily used by people in England. So it looked more robust than FocusMate, but all the users were like in England. So nobody was on my time schedule. So I kind of realized pretty quickly that one wasn't going to work for me. So, look around, see what's around there, but having a system that allows you to schedule appointments with body doubles could be very, very useful. Like I said, it is that ability with ADHD, sometimes it is so much easier to go, I will do that later. And then as long as you put that mandatory later in there, you can do it. But if you try to do it in the moment, you're just always going to be like, no, I don't want it. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And then it never gets done until the panic monster shows up. Okay, next, AAA. Yes. I've gotten much, much better at it the last few years, but AAA had to come get my keys from inside of my car multiple times. So I continue to pay for AAA because ADHD. AAA is fabulous. If you have a tendency to lock your keys in your car, rather than paying for one-off, AAA is much cheaper if you do it often. If you have forgotten to get gas, that's not my personal type of ADHD. I have anxiety, so like my tank is almost never below a quarter. I kind of freak out at that point. So it could help rescue you if you're that type. If you're the type that lets your tires get bald until they blow out, that could be your option there. helps with offsetting things that we maybe put off a little too long and then we need a solution for. Those are the only two subscription type things I have that I would say are for my ADHD. I don't tend to do much else that's regular reoccurring payment, for the plain and simple reason that I'm very much trying to save money, trying to put money into my retirement. I got a little bit of student loans left to pay off, want to get those done. So I avoid wherever possible paying for things. Plus, I'm gonna be very honest, you are not going to buy your way out of ADHD. That is not gonna happen. You're not gonna buy your way out. So accepting that and accepting there is no magic pill, there is nothing you can buy that's gonna make your life perfect, it can help prevent this constant cycle of, well, let me see this. Well, this is perfect. This is amazing. Let me try this. No, there is no magic bullet. Now, other things that I might consider paying for could include coaching. It could include some sort of ADHD, otherwise accountability system. For some people, like if you are really, really, really bad shopper, paying for your local grocery store's delivery service. A lot of times the newer models have like a monthly fee. That way you're not paying every time you get groceries delivered. I don't know. I don't use it. I'm mostly good when I go to the grocery store, but if you're not, if that's a really big one for you, paying for that could make a lot of sense. If you have the type of ADHD where like you really eat poorly, like really, really poorly, meal subscription might be an idea for you, but here is my rule for anything that you decide to try. You have to accept that it's an experiment. There is no perfect answer. It is an experiment and you have to go in with that mindset. That means this, before you hit the order, you actually go into your calendar and you set a calendar reminder for 2 to 3 months out to cancel that subscription. It specifically says cancel food delivery service. This way, you have an additional reminder. Cancel this habit tracker app. Cancel blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is that you are using and paying for, do that before you hit buy. This way you don't just forget about it and pay for it for years or refuse to acknowledge it because it's yet another failure and you leave it sitting and just taking money away from you every single month because you just don't want to face that it didn't work. That's why you have to view it as an experiment with an expiration date. Now, if it's working amazing, like if some things, like you gotta get a feel for this and practice helps with it, but understanding it is an experiment. Some things, you're gonna hit that 2 to 3 month mark where it says cancel and you're gonna be like, okay, this works. This is working really, really, really well. I think this is actually gonna work for me. I'm just gonna be done. Other times you're gonna be like, this is working well. This is working well. This is working well. I'm not sure. I think this is good. I think it's good, but I'm not 100% certain. And in which case, just move the cancellation to another 3 to 4 months out. That way it pops up again and you'll have a much better range of knowledge to know if you're going to keep doing it. Now, there are occasionally things I purchase that are for my ADHD, but not subscription. Now, I will be honest, I am not the type of person that usually buys organizers because I have discovered that that's just not a thing that works for my ADHD. And honestly, most of the people I have met with ADHD, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I know a lot of people with ADHD who think, well, if I could just get organized. I'm like, that's just not how it works. You don't just get organized. And certainly an organizer is not going to do it for you. Most of us. There are a few people, but most of us, it is not. So I don't tend to buy organizers. However, I did find out a few years ago that Zig Ziglar actually had a life planner. So not quite the same thing because it doesn't have like as intense like calendar. It's more about your goals because yeah, I can't stick to a calendar. I can't do it. I could set up a whole week beautifully with nice little breaks. I'm just not going to do it. It's just that simple. I'm not going to do it. Without an external force or something else providing pressure, I'm not going to stick to the schedule. I'm easily distracted. I'm going to decide I want to work on this instead. I'm going to be having a bad day and not be able to work on this, and I'm going to need to go do something else instead. It's just, I've come to accept that I can't work on a specific schedule with, I'm going to work this task, then this task, then this task. No, I can't. My brain does not work that way. So that said, like I said, I did find out a few years ago they had Zig Ziglar Life Planner. So I got this and I actually used it pretty solidly for a year. It was about a year and like 1 or 2 months. And I point that out because it's a year planner, and I did still have my little missed week here and there that led to it taking, 13 or 14 months to use the year calendar. So I went ahead and ordered another one. But this time I only managed to get through, I think it was about 3 or 4 months more, and then the novelty wore off. So I still have it because I still like the system. I think my brain just needs a long enough break for it to be novel again, which has not been yet. I do love the concept. This is not where I am at the moment. And I think honestly, the goals got a little stale too. Part of the ADHD, I need to find probably a new way to look at my goals to re-inspire some of them. Some of them have become habits though. I'm doing decent with the Spanish studying. Like I said, if you watch my other videos, I am on the slowest path to learning Spanish that still like goes that direction. But it's now become habit. I do it pretty much every night. I almost never miss. It's been a long time since I missed a day, but they're tiny, tiny micro lessons. Oh, yeah. Actually, no, this is not an ADHD app. That's why I didn't include it. That's right. I did consider it and then didn't write it down, and that was why. So I do pay for Duolingo, but that's not an ADHD app. That is, I'm trying to learn Spanish, and I can't. Maybe that would make it an ADHD app. I don't know. I can't seem to get myself to sit down and study. So Duolingo just made more sense for me. But whatever app works for you to compensate. So I would say that the app is not purchased specifically for ADHD or ADHD management, but because I want to learn Spanish and I can't sit down and just study for an hour, having that app to remind me to study or just the micro lessons is very useful. And let's see. Yeah. So I don't buy organizers. I only have the 2 subscriptions, FocusMate and AAA, that are like for my ADHD. I do have a Netflix account, but I wouldn't really say that's for my ADHD. That's my one recreational account. I did used to have Disney Plus, but why have 2 when I don't have that much time anyway? So instead, what I've decided to do with the Disney Plus is actually have it for a couple of months, cancel it for a good year. I don't know. Then I'll probably get it again for a couple of months. And then that way I can binge, which is how most of us people with ADHD prefer to watch our stuff anyway. So again, not another ADHD app, but I've found ways to make it a little more ADHD friendly for me by like actually canceling it for a few months. Saves me money and makes it more exciting when I do get it because I'll have shows to binge. So big takeaways. What areas of ADHD trip you up the most? And then design an experiment. If you're going to pay for something, design an experiment. First, is there a free version? Please check if there's a free version. FocusMate has a free version. A lot of these habit tracker apps, stuff like that, they have a free version. Try that first. Save yourself the money. See if you even like the product. And if you do, and you decide you want the paid version of it, okay. But treat it like an experiment. Set the cancellation, the deadline before you even hit buy. That way you know it's just an experiment. It's okay if it doesn't work out. It's not a reflection on you. It's not a failure. Just try it. And be graceful with yourself still. Things are going to work. Things aren't going to work. And it's life. It's life. Some things work, some things don't. And if it doesn't work, cancel it. Just cancel it. Save the money. And accept reality. Most of us with ADHD There is nothing. There's no magic organizer that's going to get us there. Look instead at where your particular pain point is and work on that. If there's something that helps with that particular pain point. Yeah. So, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, so ADHD, and I didn't script this one. So the reason I went with the Zig Ziglar planner was because I'd actually listened to his motivational CDs multiple times. Like I used them to try to reinforce goal setting and going after what I wanted and getting things done. So I would listen to them while I drove. So I'd actually listened to the goal setting series multiple times, which is why I was willing to try a planner, even though I know I'm not a planner person, because I already knew I liked the idea and the system. And yeah, I love that this thing does not have time slots. It does not, like, there is a time schedule thing you can fill out at the bottom, but it doesn't say 1 to 2, 2 to 3. No, none of that. And honestly, I always left the time section blank. I didn't, almost always. I tried a few times to kind of track what I had done, see what my days went, but that was not working for me. So it was a bit rambly, but long story short, accept that your ADHD is going to be what it's going to be. You cannot buy your way out of it. And enjoy the experiments. Some of them are going to be awesome for 2 weeks. And that's fine. That's fine. That's 2 weeks of productivity you wouldn't have had otherwise. As long as it doesn't cost you a crazy amount of money and you don't refuse to cancel it when it stops working. We like novelty. That's okay. So, I wish you luck. Now, go forth and do great things.